back again for session 2 of the short film showcase number 1 on the first day of Horrific 2026, because we've got lots of filmmakers, which is awesome. And we're going to talk to them right now about their shorts that we've just shown, but do me a favour, make my life a hell of a lot easier. Go down the line, tell us who you are and what you did on the project that you worked with.
So my name is Jack Burney, and I co-wrote and directed A Mormon's Guide to Home Invasion.
Hi, I'm Alejandro. I wrote, directed and edited Chicken Feed.
I'm Andy, and I wrote the score for Chicken Feed and did the sound, post-production, bit of Foley work and that kind of thing.
Hi, I'm Sebastian Roberts. I wrote and directed Hello.
Van Poynton, and I wrote, produced and directed In.
So I'm going to start with the same question I started on the last one, which is basically, where did the initial concept of your short movies come from, and at what point did you know this is what I'm making?
Mormon's Guide was also made as part of the 666 challenge. So in a similar way, we got our brief Friday night. My co-writer Chris, who's here with me today, he had a sort of similar idea. He wanted to do something Mormon-based, but to be honest, I'd been watching a lot of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I had Mormons on the brain, so we just ran with it.
I really have no idea what to say to that.
There's nothing to say.
Yes.
So Chicken Feed was also for the challenge, and basically that chicken has been in my flat for a while because my partner and I just found it one day in the street in Scotland randomly. Because I knew it was for the challenge and we wouldn't be able to write it until the day, but I to the brief I added my own guidelines basically to the team. So I said, whatever we do, let's do it with the chicken. And so basically I had this idea of doing it. Whatever it was, the chicken was going to be the monster. And that was it, basically. That shot of him being terrified and the camera panning and revealing the chicken outside the door, that just was in my brain from the start. So it just grew from there.
Yeah, I can add to that Alejandro sent over some really useful kind of suggestions for the music, because we knew that for an action-based short like that, the music really had to kind of bounce along with the action. So, we talked about Sam Raimi, that came up a lot. So Danny Elfman scores, but also even the scores for things like Predator and John Carpenter, I think, came up for the quieter bits, the scarier bits. And I think the only thing you can do with something like that is treat the monster as seriously as you would a completely real monster, and then the joke lands. If you make it silly, then it doesn't work so well.
Yeah, so I actually wrote Hello a few years ago, and I'd taken a break from my film career because of my last short films before that didn't do very well. So I decided to take another shot at it and start off with something small, more doable, so I could just focus more on quality, and it's actually inspired. So for this, I wanted to go back to what inspired me to do horror, which was J-horror films, the Grudge, Joanne the Grudge films, the Ring film, Ring, Cairo, and stuff like that. And so the whole thing is basically me just going back to where I started and taking another shot.
I was doing I'm a director primarily, but I was doing a cinematography course, and we had to do a one take. It's a student film. I had to do a one take film, and I'm obsessed with zooms, and I wanted to do something with lots of zooming. And I was checking out a girl one time, and I thought I might be checking her out a little bit too much, and I thought, what if I ended up in her head? And that was the idea.
So first of all, before I get on to the next question, I just want to thank the guys from Chicken Feed, because I watched your short directly after Don't Cross the Line. Again, I hate spiders, but that chicken, brilliant. I'm so into movies like that, and so thanks for that. But Mormon's Guide to the Galaxy, Mormon's Guide to Home Invasion, it's an easy one to make. Where did you find this actor? Because he commits and absolutely goes for it. And what was the sort of the memo, the note you gave to him?
Shave his beard. That was the main one. So much as I think probably you guys did, before the challenge, not knowing what we were what the brief was, we collected our actors and all of our props and everything like that. And once we sort of settled on the Mormon idea, Grant was sort of there. He was like, right, I've got a big beard, and we were just like, if possible, can that go? And he came in the next day freshly shaved, and yeah, he was perfect for it. Yeah, he did an excellent job. He was able to be scary when he needed to be, and deliver the lines, and was funny where he needed to be as well. So yeah, it was great.
And in all of your shorts, we've got a lot of practical going on, which is brilliant. And then, would you say that it's just better to do horror practically, especially when the little girl eating the finger and whatnot for your short? And is that what you would like to keep it that way, so that it just stays horrific?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely prefer practical because it looks real on screen, and yeah, it just gets a more visceral reacting compared to, say, if you just composited some fake blood or something like that. And so yeah, I'm definitely going to be sticking to that. I definitely would recommend it.
And then Chicken Feed, was there anything you shot that you thought, actually, that's just a little bit too silly, I can't use that?
Oh God, no. There's nothing that's too silly. I just love. Yeah, I just want to make a live action cartoon, and I love puppets. I operated the chicken, so my arm still hurts because those guys, I was like, guys, my arm is inside. Just pretend you're fighting the chicken. Don't actually fight my arm. So they were twisting my arm all over the place. But no, it was like you were saying, practical stuff, and especially one of my favorite films is The Dark Crystal. So I've always been a big fan of everything that involves puppetry and animatronics and that kind of stuff. So it was just a dream.
Every year when I do this, I usually end the Q&As with a question about puppets. So your film just ticks that box. So I'm retiring that this year. I am sorry. But for visually pleasing, sounds absolutely stunning. What was the biggest challenge for your show?
Yeah, actually, the time frame probably, we had a very short time to do it in a real cafeteria. And just a few hours and doing it all in one take, and all of the three actors in the foreground, as soon as they were out of shot, they were doing the lights, getting a green screen in. It was crazy, completely crazy. Made a few hours, so it was terrifying. And the last take was the one used in it, and so it was one of those ones that was it. The technical aspect of the shoot itself.
And talking about challenges, in indie filmmaking and low budget filmmaking, it's hard at the best of times, and this is for everyone. What would you say was the biggest creative risk that you took on your shorts?
Will someone else go first? I need to think about that one.
Okay, with this one, because it was for the challenge, the team we worked together before in a different another horror comedy a year before. So we wanted just to work together again, and based on those experiences, knowing that I wasn't gonna be able to have time to plan after the writing, what was the weird experience was that I started just doing random storyboards, not knowing a script. But I knew I was gonna use the chicken, I knew the cows what we were gonna film, and I knew I had basically 2 actors. So I just started doing random storyboards or a bunch of sequences, and I was just storyboarding bits and scenes and moments. And just kind of after we got the brief, just kind of find which ones we could use and put it together. So it was an interesting thought process.
Can I add from the music point of view, the biggest challenge with this one was because of the time frame, I had to start scoring it just from the script before I'd seen any actual video footage. But then also going back a bit, I was already starting to think about ideas just from the storyboards as well, and this idea of the chicken, and some pictures from real films. I'm like, well, it's not going to look like that because it's 2 days of challenge, but let's see what we can do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the biggest creative risk for me was while we were filming, I did actually start to worry if we were doing too much blood and gore. I mean, yeah, I know, but I feel like for me there's this line between getting the right visceral reacting and just being gory and gross just for the sake of it, really, which can get boring in a way. So, but yeah, because that opening shots with the blood dripping and everything, that wasn't pre-planned. That was actually something we came up with while we were filming. Yeah, and so I was really happy. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that looked. And same with the overhead drone shot. I actually came up with that during filming because the whole thing beforehand was storyboarded, and I was pretty much sticking to the boards, but we kind of just changed a few things while we were filming just to make it better.
Yeah, I think again with the nature of the challenge, it's just the speed of it all, and knowing that, you know, when you wake up on that Saturday, you know, by the time that you go to bed many hours later, you've got to have that film. There is no time to have another shoot day. So it was just, you know, keeping up with the stamina and that sort of thing, and making sure that we get everything. You know, we didn't really have time to storyboard and shot lists, so it was, you know, stretching myself as a director for sure, like in the moment thinking, right, where's all the coverage that we need to get? But it was a fantastic day. Learned a hell of a lot.
So do we have any questions from the audience? Yep, well, in front here.
I just want to say thanks to everybody. I don't know where the others are, but I really enjoyed all your films. It's more of a comment than a question. So I just want to say to Chicken Feed, I think one of my favourite things I noticed I did was the guinea fowl feathers that floated down on the chicken box, the egg, with the egg carton, and I thought that was a really cool little sort of little touch that I enjoyed that being from Africa. Thank you.
You got very lucky with the feather sticking to their faces.
Yeah, because so I wasn't sure that the chicken was going to die at the end, but just in case, I got a bunch of feathers from Amazon, which luckily were very similar to the chicken.
Yeah, they give me chicken.
And that was literally one take. It was on the first take. It was just perfect. So it was just leave it at that. Leave it at that. Don't touch it. And then I had to show the box because also part of the idea using the chicken before doing the challenge was because there was this whole craze about chlorinated chicken coming from America. And I'm dyslexic, so I remember one day I read it wrong, and I read something about like a headline saying, "Oh, we're gonna be inundated with chlorinated chicken and eggs," and I was like, "Chlorinated eggs? That doesn't make any sense." But I just thought it was so silly again that just went with it.
Very good.
And just so you all know, you can try the Chicken Feed cocktail at the bar. Always pimping. Will you be trying it?
No.
So
he's not actually taking the piss for once. It's a chicken feed cocktail.
Oh wow. Okay.
But we do cocktails themed on some of the shorts. So you need to definitely try it out.
Yes.
Do you get a tiny little pop of chicken out there?
You absolutely do. Absolutely do. So the last question I have for you, again, it's a little bit of a fun one. If your short movie was to turn into a human being in physical form, what would its karaoke song be?
That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know if you could hit the high notes, but it'd be interesting to see Ave Maria done as a karaoke song. Yeah,
I'd watch that.
It'd be interesting.
Someone else go first.
These are the hard-hitting questions you get at Romford Horrific.
Every breath you take.
Run from the unknown calls.
I don't know anything else of that one. You're the musicians. Yeah.
I'm the music guy. I'm trying to think of something funny, but all I can think of is that old chicken song that goes. It's not great for karaoke because I don't think there's any lyrics, but.
Again, yeah.
And just in case anyone was wondering, this is us making a playlist for the end of the week. So, yeah, thank you guys for bringing your films to us. Thank you for submitting, and most of all, thank you for being here and seeing the film up on the screen today. Can we get a round of applause?